Former Elton John guitarist Caleb Quaye talks about that great chemistry that early band had, even back to the days of Empty Sky. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. The Elton John band kind of hit the ground running. There were a lot of different variations of the Elton John band, but Roger Pope, Nigel Olsson, Caleb Quaye, off and on were there a lot in the early days. Davy Johnson joined in 1971 with the Mad Men Across the Water album. In this one, we talk mostly about Empty Sky and how that band was so tight. By the way, I was listening to Empty Sky and I was really getting into Empty Sky this morning, and I hadn't heard it in its entirety in a long time. The thing about, your guitar work on that is amazing. You keep changing. There's a lot of styles on that album, and you were like, I think 19 or 20 when you recorded that album. I think 18. Yeah. And no, you were 20 in '68. Yeah. So, what was your? And I know the hook foot thing, and I know the fact that you guys were known as serious players. A lot of our audience loved that when you were saying, we might not have been well known like the Who, but the cats knew who we were.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that says an awful lot, because in the end of the day, you can be a Britney Spears, nothing against her, but musicians want to be known as a guy who can really play and can be put in a situation, put him there, put Caleb there, and you'll know what to do. At that point, were you and Elton, because you were in bluesology together, were you and Elton, did you have a nice rhythm? Because I'm listening to your guitar parts and I'm going, it's like he's played it forever on Empty Sky. It's like...
Thank you, yeah. We were tight. Musically, we were tight. There was a lot. We had great musical chemistry. Myself, Roger Pope, Elton, we had great musical chemistry.
Yeah.
And I think, the reason for that, I think we listened to a lot and we absorbed the same musical influences and diverse influences. We weren't just listening to rock and roll or pop music. We were listening to jazz, classical music, so all of it. I came from a professional, my dad was a professional jazz musician, so I was just born into music. It was the soundtrack it was the wallpaper of our house, when I was growing up. So as a musician, on the artistic side of things, there's this journey, you're on this lifelong journey of assimilating influences that become your own musical language. And then the creativity is to be able to employ these influences in any given situation.
Yeah, like on Empty Sky, I'm listening to you go, dang, I'm going,
yeah.
I love that. Because people forget sometimes that they look at Elton John or any artist and they'll pigeonhole him, and then I'm listening to this and I forgot about that when you go.
Yeah. We never wanted to be pigeonholed. I never wanted to be pigeonholed.
Yeah.
I think the biggest frustration as a musician is to try and describe what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because what is that? What is music? It's like a good meal, a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
As a 20-year-old, more than the Elton thing, what were you like as a 20-year-old? What is there something you tell him now?
What was I like then?
Yeah.
Boy.
Because I'm listening to your styles here, I'm going, this kid, you were a young man, but it's amazing what you did on just that album to start with.
I was obsessed with making music. My goal back then as a teenager who was fortunate to get a start in the music industry, I wanted to learn every aspect of making music, the creative process of making music. So not just the playing of the music, but the writing, the arranging, the recording, the produce, the whole thing. I wanted to learn the whole thing. I don't know where I got that from. My mom says that, and it's actually in the documentary, she says from about 4 years old, she noticed that I listened to music different to other people, to other kids of my age,
Like, what did she mean by like what? Like,
I don't know, I just had this ability, and I can only say it, I believe it's a gift from God. I had this ability to listen to a piece of music and hear all the parts playing at once. Wow. I wasn't just fixated on the melody line or what. I could hear everything and how all the parts were relating. It's called an arranger's mind.
Yeah. You know, my friend Jeff Graham and I, we went at one point. We were having this discussion. I remember it because I wrote it in my journal. He said, "You know what? What would be great if Caleb got back together with Elton in the mid '70s when you went back with him and re-recorded." I was never a big fan of the production of that Empty Sky, but I was a fan of the songs, and I thought the echo stuff on your guitar at times, but that album is, I think, a very underrated album. I mean, I'm fixated on it because I just listened to it, but if you would have re-record the '75 version of Elton John, re-recorded that album,
it would have been interesting. Yeah, sure.
Could have been huge because the songs are. I mean, I know they're a little hokey because they're young and they're a little rhythm or rhymey, and in that. Right. More from Caleb Quaye coming up next week. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.